If you're a man over 60 and your erections aren't what they used to be, don't blame aging, don't blame your testosterone. Because what's really stealing your performance might just be a vitamin deficiency that no one ever warned you about. In fact, this one overlooked nutrient could be the reason. Your blood flow has slowed, your intimacy has faded, and your confidence feels like it's slipping away. And here's the shocking truth. Most doctors never test for it. I'm Dr. Mohit Kara. I've spent over 30 years helping men restore their energy, circulation, and connection naturally, without relying on pills or surgeries. And in the thousands of men I've treated, one thing keeps showing up over and over again. This critical vitamin is missing. But once we correct it, blood flow improves, erections return, and life changes fast. Now I know this sounds almost too simple, but that's why most men never hear about it. Because the pharmaceutical world can't patent a vitamin, and yet the science is clear. This nutrient can actually reverse the artery stiffness that blocks blood from reaching where you need it most. Today, I'll show you how it works, how to get it, and why men like you, even in your 60s or 70s, are seeing dramatic results. So stay with me, because in just a moment, I'll reveal the exact dose, the best form, and the morning routine that could change your life starting tomorrow. Before we dive in, if you're serious about reclaiming your circulation, energy, and intimacy after 60, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a science-backed tip made specifically for men like you. And if this topic speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Your feedback helps me make these videos better for you. Alright, let's start with the truth. Most men over 60 never hear. If your blood flow has slowed down, if your hands and feet feel cold, or if your erections aren't as firm or reliable as they used to be, it may not be just age. In fact, for many men I treat, it all comes down to one hidden deficiency that silently stiffens the arteries and blocks circulation where it matters most, that missing link. A powerful but often ignored nutrient called vitamin K1. The hidden deficiency no one talks about. When I think back on the thousands of men I've treated over the past 3 decades, there's one pattern that still surprises me and frankly frustrates me. Most of them walk into my office thinking their poor circulation, fatigue, or weakening erections are just a normal part of aging. And I understand why. It's what they've been told for years. But what I found again and again is something very different. Something correctable. These men are almost always missing one essential nutrient. It's not testosterone, it's not zinc. It's not even something you'll see on a typical blood panel. It's vitamin K2. And it plays a much bigger role in your circulation and intimacy than anyone gives it credit for. You see, vitamin K2 has one very important job inside the body. It helps keep calcium out of your arteries and directs it into your bones. Without it, calcium can begin to build up along your artery walls, turning them stiff, rigid, and narrow. A condition called vascular calcification. Think of it like plaque in old plumbing. The water still flows, but slower, weaker, and eventually it stops. And when that plumbing is responsible for delivering blood to your heart and to your erections, you can imagine the consequences. That's why I check K2 levels in nearly every man over 60 who walks into my clinic, because when we correct that deficiency, the results are often fast and powerful. Better blood flow, improved stamina, and a stronger sense of vitality from the inside out. Now, of course, knowing about K2 is only the beginning. The real magic happens when you understand exactly how this vitamin improves erections on a cellular level, and for that, we need to talk about something most men have never even heard of: nitric oxide, and believe me, this part changes everything. To the science behind erections and K2. Over the years, I've had countless men look me in the eye and ask the same question: "Doc, why is this happening to me?" They're not talking about a little fatigue or the occasional off day. They're talking about a deep, personal fear that their body is slipping away, and they can't do anything about it. So I always start with the basics. An erection isn't about willpower. It's not about desire alone. It's about blood flow, pure and simple, without strong, steady circulation. There's no physical way for a man to achieve or maintain a firm erection. That's just how the body works. And this is where vitamin K to become so critical. See, when arteries lose their flexibility, when they're hardened from years of silent calcium buildup, they can't expand and allow blood to surge through. It's like trying to pump water through a garden hose filled with cement. That's what happens inside the body without enough K2. But when you restore K2, something amazing begins to happen. It activates a special protein called matrix GLA, which clears calcium out of your arteries. The vessels regain flexibility. Blood starts flowing more freely, not just to your heart or brain, but to the areas that matter most for intimacy and connection. I've seen men in their 60s and 70s who thought they were done regain natural function just by improving this one nutrient. And it's not magic, it's physiology. But there's another piece to this puzzle. Blood flow alone isn't enough. Your vessels also need a chemical signal to open wide. That signal is called nitric oxide. And the way it interacts with K2 might just be the most important part of all. Let me show you why. 3. The real patient story. Mark, 68. I'll never forget Mark. He was 68. A retired firefighter from a small town in Ohio when he first saw us. Faith first sat across from me. He had this quiet look in his eyes. Not sadness exactly, but something deeper. A kind of resignation. He said, "Doc, I'm not the man I used to be. My body doesn't respond the way it should. I don't feel the fire anymore. Not just in the bedroom, but in life." I could hear the frustration in his voice. Not anger, but the quiet kind that builds when you've been searching for answers and finding nothing but pills and temporary fixes. He had tried the blue pill. Of course it worked sometimes, but it felt forced, unnatural. He didn't want a shortcut. He wanted to feel like himself again. So we ran a few blood tests. His testosterone was borderline, but not terrible. What stood out was his vitamin K2. It was barely detectable. His arteries were likely stiffening, silently restricting the blood flow that once made everything feel effortless. I put him on a targeted K2 supplement, paired with D3 for better absorption. Within 6 weeks, he told me he felt different. Clearer in his head, warmer in his hands and feet. And yes, stronger where it mattered most. He even said his wife noticed the change before he did. I didn't think it was possible. He told me, "I thought that part of life was just over." It wasn't over, it was just neglected. And Mark's story isn't rare. I've seen dozens of men like him rediscover what they thought they'd lost, not through medication, but by supporting their body's natural design. But here's the thing, even with better blood flow, there are hidden blockers working against you, often disguised as medications or daily habits. Let me show you what they are, before they quietly rob you of your progress. For the dangerous medications blocking your flow. One of the hardest conversations I have with my patients isn't about what's missing, it's about what's getting in the way. And most of the time, they have no idea. You see, once we start improving circulation and restoring blood flow, whether through vitamin K2, better nutrition, or natural therapies, Some men still struggle, their progress feels slower. The energy returns, but not quite like they hoped. So I start asking questions. What medications are you on? That's when the picture usually becomes clear. Statins. The cholesterol drugs prescribed to millions of older men can interfere with the same biochemical pathways that vitamin K2 supports. And while they may lower cholesterol, they may also blunt the body's ability to manage calcium properly, allowing it to harden the arteries even faster. But statins aren't the only culprit. Blood pressure medications, acid blockers, certain antidepressants, all can suddenly affect circulation, hormone balance, or nutrient absorption. Even something as common as a calcium supplement taken without vitamin K2 can do more harm than good by pushing excess calcium into your arteries instead of your bones. I'm not saying to throw out your prescriptions, but I am saying this. You need to understand what these drugs may be doing behind the scenes, because sometimes the problem isn't your body, it's the chemical environment we've placed it in. I've seen men who were taking 5, 6, even 7 medications finally start feeling alive again, once we adjusted what wasn't serving them. But here's the good news: even if you're on medications, there are still ways to naturally protect your circulation. And one of the smartest is by looking at your daily nutrition, especially the foods and vitamins you might be missing, without even knowing it. Let me explain 5 natural sources of K2 and why most diets fall short. One of the first questions men ask me, after learning about the power of vitamin K2, is this, can I just get it from food DOC? I always smile because it's a fair question. We've been told for years that if we just eat a healthy, balanced diet, we'll get everything we need. But the truth is that's not always the case, especially when it comes to K2BA. This vitamin isn't like vitamin C or D, where a single fruit or a few minutes of sunlight can cover your needs. Vitamin K2 is incredibly rare in the standard American diet. The richest natural source is a Japanese dish called natto, a sticky fermented soybean food with a taste and smell most people can't stomach, myself included. It's also found in grass-fed organ meats like goose liver, and in some hard cheeses like Gouda and Edam. But even then, you'd need to eat a pretty unusual amount almost daily to get enough. Most men simply don't eat these foods often enough, or at all, to correct a deficiency. That's why I often recommend a high-quality supplement, especially the MK7 form of K2. It's the most absorbable and stays in your body longer. I usually pair it with vitamin D3 to help calcium move efficiently, and sometimes magnesium for additional cardiovascular support. It's a small step, but it's one of the most powerful things you can do for your circulation, your energy, and your confidence as a man over 60. Now, of course, no vitamin works in isolation. And this next part is where everything starts to come together. Because restoring circulation is about more than blood flow. It's about reclaiming your sense of vitality. Let me show you how these changes actually transform the way you feel. Body and mind. 6. The bigger picture. Reclaiming your vitality and intimacy. When I speak to men in their 60s and beyond, one thing becomes clear very quickly. Most aren't just worried about circulation or energy, or even performance in the bedroom. What they're really chasing, often silently, is a feeling they haven't had in years. That feeling of being alive, strong, present, like themselves again. Because when blood flow slows down, when intimacy starts to fade, and when your body doesn't respond the way it used to, it doesn't just affect your health, it affects your identity. I've heard it in the voices of men who once led companies, raised families, fought fires, built homes, men who are still sharp, still capable, but feel like something inside has gone quiet. That's why restoring circulation isn't just about physical function. It's about reconnecting to your own sense of strength and confidence. And that starts with honoring what your body needs. Not synthetic shortcuts, but real targeted support. When you give your cardiovascular system the nutrients it's been missing, like K to D3 and magnesium, you're not just supporting healthy arteries, you're reigniting the very systems that power your energy, your clarity, your sense of intimacy, and joy. I've seen men go from exhausted and frustrated to fully engaged again. Not because they turned back the clock, but because they finally gave their body permission to heal, naturally and deeply. They stopped managing symptoms and started rebuilding the foundation. And when that happens, something shifts. You look at your partner differently. You move with more confidence. You stop avoiding the mirror. And for the first time in a long time, you feel like you again. Now that you understand the why behind this transformation, let me show you the how. The simple daily routine I give my private patients to restore circulation and performance naturally from the inside out. 7 motivational close to segment. The fire isn't gone. Here's what I want every man over 60 to hear, clearly and without hesitation. The fire inside you is not gone. It may have dimmed, it may feel distant, but it is not gone. You're not broken. You're not past your prime. What you may be is undersupported nutritionally, emotionally, and physically, and that's something we can change. I've sat across from men who had all but given up. Men who hadn't felt intimacy in years, who stopped believing their body could respond, who silently feared they'd never feel truly alive again. But once we address the real root causes: circulation, nutrient deficiencies, daily habits, something started to shift, not just in their body, but in their spirit. You deserve more than just getting by. You deserve to feel strong in the morning, to feel connected at night. You deserve to walk into a room with quiet confidence, knowing your best years didn't end at 50, they're still unfolding. And it's not too late. You don't need extreme treatments. You need smart daily steps that work with your body, not against it, just like a fire that needs oxygen and warmth. Your body needs circulation and care. And when you give it what it's truly been missing, it knows exactly how to respond. You may not feel 25 again, but you can feel clear, connected, and capable more than you have in years. Now let me walk you through the simple, doctor-recommended daily routine that ties it all together. The same one I give to my private patients to rebuild circulation, improve intimacy, and help them feel like themselves again. This is where it all comes together. Conclusion: a simple step toward the man you used to be. If you've made it this far, it means something inside you is still fighting, still searching for answers, for clarity, for hope. And I want you to know that matters. What we talked about today wasn't just about a vitamin. It was about a deeper truth. That poor circulation, fading intimacy, and low energy are not inevitable after 60. They are symptom signs that your body is asking for help. And often it's not asking for more medications or another prescription. It's asking for balance, for nutrients like vitamin K2 that restore flexibility to your arteries, improve blood flow, and support natural, lasting performance where it counts most. You've learned the science. You've heard Mark's story. You've seen how medications, nutrient gaps, and even daily habits can quietly chip away at your vitality. But you've also seen the path forward, one built on simple, proven changes that work with your body, not against it. I've watched men rebuild their strength, their relationships, their confidence, not through quick fixes, but through consistent natural support. And I believe you can too. You're not too late, you're not too far gone. You're one smart, simple step away from feeling like the man you used to be. And maybe even stronger than you were before. If this video helped you understand your body a little better, if it gave you hope, clarity, or a new sense of control over your health, I'd be honored if you'd take a moment to support this message. Click the like button so more men like you can find it. Share it with a friend, a brother, or someone who might need to hear that. It's not too late to feel alive again. Leave a comment below, even just a one, to let me know you're here. You're listening and you're ready to make a change. I read every single one, and if you'd like to help me continue making these science-backed videos for men over 60, you can donate directly using the link below. Every dollar goes toward research, education, and creating real solutions for real men. Not sponsored products or hype. Your support means the world. And it helps me keep showing up for you. Because the journey back to strength, connection, and confidence is one we shouldn't have to walk alone. Let's keep building it together.